In these same attacks, black farm workers are also murdered. But did you even consider that? Did you even notice that? Of course not, because what is a black life? And does it even matter? Hello, Sunny Wanani, and hey, it's your girl Bissy here, and today I'll be bringing you another video in the Siyakhuluma Mzansi segment. And I know you guys are thinking, what? Siyakhuluma Mzansi, is that still a thing? But yes, it's definitely still a thing. But I haven't been making content for that segment due to I was just taking a break, okay? I don't need to explain. And now I'm back, and I've been meaning to make this specific video for a very long time. And I think I actually meant to make it on the 8th of April, yes. And I didn't, and instead I made a Facebook status. And let's just say, I don't even know how to explain the response to it. Most people were decent. I mean, let's face it, most people aren't super delusional. But I did get a flood of vitriol, hate comments. I was called the K word. I was called a pitch black woman who sells her body because I made this status saying that white genocide doesn't exist. So before we get into this video, I'd just like to remind you to subscribe to my channel, give this video a big thumbs up, leave a comment down below about how white genocide isn't a thing. And of course, share with your friends, family, loved ones, and that annoying cousin that thinks white genocide is a thing. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so before we get into it and I give you guys my opinion, I think we should start off with the definition of genocide. So, what is genocide? According to the UN's definition, in the present convention, genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. As such, killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to the members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group's conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Okay, so that's the definition. Dear white genocide believers, if you really believe that there is a white genocide going on in South Africa, and it's within your power, then I really do suggest that you leave. Because, I mean, we have enough problems as a country, and no one really has the time to entertain your delusions. Should you leave? Yes. But should you get priority over actual refugees and asylum seekers whose lives are actually under threat and in danger? No. Hell to the mother effing no. No question about it. But yes, no, you should still leave, but you shouldn't get to cut the queue just because you're white. Are farm attacks even real? Yes, they are, and it's tragic. The crime stats in South Africa are awful. But crime is not a white farmer thing. It's a South African problem, and white South Africans are statistically the safest demographic. According to Africa Check, while white South Africans account for nearly 9% of the population, they account for just 1.8% of murder victims. Yet, there's a white genocide. Come now. These attacks are not motivated by race, but actually motivated by poverty and, let's face it, criminality. Because not every poor person steals or then murders. In these same attacks, black farm workers are also murdered. But did you even consider that? Did you even notice that? Of course not, because what is a black life? And does it even matter? If you live in some posh suburb or some affluent, gated community, you are not the #1 target for crime. In fact, people in townships are, and they're not marching, even though they really should be marching because it's unacceptable. But you know what? Privilege tends to blind people to the reality that's right in front of them and makes them believe that they're the center of the universe. Now here's a reality check. If black people really wanted white people dead, we could do it. And we could do it in a matter of days. Because how many white South Africans don't have a black person working in their household, be it a domestic worker or a gardener? If black people really wanted white people dead, we really could do it. We wouldn't have to break into your houses because you grant us access. But do you see how crazy it is to think that there's some sort of conspiracy or some sort of group effort to kill white people when we're clearly not trying? And you know what? We're not going to kill white people because that's not our thing. Don't worry, we won't do to you what your ancestors did to us. But see, what we do want is the sharing of wealth of this country with the people that work the fields and the mines and the factories, etc., etc. It really is not good enough that 24 years after the dawn of democracy, Black South Africans are still subjected to an undignified and landless existence. And I know what you'll say.
Bussy, it's the Black ANC's government's fault that things aren't improving for Black people.
And yeah, you're right. It is the ANC's fault that things aren't improving. But it's also the white National Party's government and the colonialists' fault that Black people's lives needed to be improved in the first place. If our land hadn't been stolen and we hadn't been subjected to these weird superiority complexes, then we'd be better off. Okay, so what do we do now? How do we move forward? Well, the government needs to come up with a plan that ensures that land is redistributed and that wealth is redistributed in our country. And if this government's not going to do it, then we better vote for one that will. But many other things need to change. Education needs to become free and accessible to all. Education needs to be free from grade R all the way up to PhD. And service delivery needs to be a thing, not just in Constantia, but also ekukulethu nasekailicha. And people that keep sharing these fake posts of bleeding babies and people who've been hacked to pieces, you're not helping the situation. In fact, you're actually fueling racial tensions in our country because Black people are being blamed for something that they're not actually doing. Crime is a crime, and crime does not have a color. Because as much as you like to paint the narrative of Black people being criminals, white people stole entire continents. So, you know, don't be the pot calling the kettle black. In order for South Africa to have a chance in this lifetime and in this global economy, every single citizen needs to have the right mindset, and it's not divisive. It's not a divisive. It's not one it divide you. You know what I'm saying? But it is one of inclusion. It's one that strives for equality. It's one that acknowledges the injustices of the past and aims to improve them. It's one that recognizes Black excellence. It's one that accepts that things are not okay. And one that doesn't completely discount, crime in farms and murders that actually happen. Because that's not conducive to this either. So instead of ignoring it completely, we shouldn't be doing that. We should be acknowledging that people are dying, but at the same time, we shouldn't be calling it a genocide. We need to work together as a country to fight crime on all levels and on all spheres. So, if this whole plan of coming together and fighting crime doesn't work for you, then, Australia is that way, I think. And also, please can you take Steve Hofmeyr with you. Kind regards, Wussy Chiako. Oh, and before I forget, I'd recommend that you follow a page on Facebook called Busting the Myth of White Genocide in SA. They're really good at myth busting, basically, and providing real, accurate facts. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Kinitanda nonke makaya.